Welcome back, babes. We love you, we appreciate you, and honestly, by the time you hear this, it's probably the start of your week, so babes, we are wishing you the most amazing week. I am, like, literally holding onto the edge of this desk right now, just trying to find the physical will to sit upright.
Yeah, you need to pull that microphone about 2 inches closer to your face before you actually collapse.
I know.
And just for the record, Snark Squad, we literally just clocked out of our actual jobs. We drag our hollowed-out bodies to these chairs, and babes, it feels like a Tuesday.
It really does. It feels illegal to be this tired.
Like a really late, heavy, existential dread kind of Tuesday where you question, every life choice that led you to this moment. But it's literally only the beginning of the week. The early week exhaustion is just hitting me with a complete lack of fairness today.
Unfair is literally the exact word. It's so bad. I am vibrating with this, like, toxic mix of pure post-work delirium, artificial caffeine, and total emotional exhaustion.
Oh, I can see the vibrations from here.
My day at the clinic was an absolute circus. I mean, we have to do highs and lows of the dental life today because I need to emotionally offload this onto you and the Snark Squad before I explode.
Please, lay it on me. I survived entirely on watered-down iced coffee, spite, and the sheer willpower to not scream at the general public today.
Right.
So my threshold for chaos is extremely high right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so picture this. You know the clinical lighting in room 3.
Oh, the interrogation room lighting.
Yes, it's not just bright, it's that glaring, offensive fluorescent that makes everyone look like they've been decomposing for a week.
It highlights every flaw.
Exactly. And the room already smells aggressively like dental acrylic and sterilization fluid. You know that sharp chemical cavicide smell?
I know it intimately. It's the scent of clinical anxiety and latex.
Right. The smell that just bypasses your nose and lives permanently in your hair follicles. So I have this patient in the chair, and their energy is just, like, frantic from the second they sit down.
Oh, no. Full flight or flight.
Full flight or flight panic mode. We're in the middle of a complex procedure, hands literally inside their mouth, sharp metal tools everywhere. And they will not stop trying to talk.
Wait, like actually talking? Or just grunting?
Not just grunts, like full, multi-layered conversational paragraphs, muffled, wet, panicky conversations, while I'm trying to ensure we don't accidentally damage a nerve.
That is genuinely terrifying.
I am sweating under my PPE, the plastic gown is clinging to me, and I'm trying to be the calming, emotional anchor.
Of course you are.
I'm using my soothing voice, saying, just breathe through your nose, you're doing great, almost done. While inside, my internal monologue is just a continuous high-pitched scream.
See, this is where our fundamental psychological makeups differ entirely.
What do you mean?
Well, you try to be the emotional anchor. You absorb their panic. My clinic moment today was an exercise in pure, cold realism.
Oh, God, what happened?
I had a patient trying to actively negotiate their treatment plan. Not before the procedure, not after.
During.
While they were actively numb in the chair. Half their face is completely paralyzed, drooping down. They're drooling slightly under the paper bib.
No. The vulnerability of doing that while drooling.
Exactly. And they were trying to barter with me about the price of porcelain crowns like we're haggling over a rug at a flea market.
I would literally die. What did you do?
The audacity just overrides the vulnerability for me. I didn't even argue. I just gave them the slow blink.
Oh, the dead stare.
The completely dead, flat, reptilian stare until they realized I wasn't engaging. I just looked at them and said, we can discuss the financial mechanics of this procedure when you have full motor control of your lower lip.
You are so ruthless.
Played it entirely cool, totally professional. But inside, I was judging them with the intensity of 1,000 suns. The sheer refusal of people to accept the cost of things is staggering.
You're not wrong, honestly. It's boundaries. And speaking of ruthless, look at us. Snark Squad, if you are watching the video format of this right now, you will notice we are both accidentally wearing entirely black outfits today. We showed up, took one look at each other, and realized we are completely in uniform.
It's highly coordinated.
It's giving Elizabeth Holmes baddie energy, minus the massive corporate fraud and the fake deep voice.
I was actually analyzing this phenomenon in the mirror before we hit record. Let's break down the psychology of the all-black ensemble.
Let's do it.
Does wearing head-to-toe black automatically make you hotter? Or does it just make you look like a highly organized supervillain who is about to foreclose on a beloved community center?
Oh, definitely the supervillain.
Because honestly, I'm fine with either aesthetic. It's incredibly efficient. It hides the coffee stains from the morning rush. It requires zero decision-making fatigue.
And it establishes immediate dominance in a room.
Exactly.
It makes us look like we are going to a funeral for our own sanity. Which brings me to our beverage check. Snark Squad, we are switching up the protocol tonight.
We really are.
Usually, we are popping a bottle of wine to deal with the reality TV mess. But tonight, we have giant Red Bulls and water. I just cracked open a fresh one.
Because there's so much to get through.
So much. And my natural energy reserves are in the negative digits.
Our livers are finally getting a desperately needed vacation today.
Thank God.
But our cardiovascular systems, they are about to enter the danger zone. The resting heart rate is going to be dangerously fast tonight.
I can already feel it pulsing in my ears.
But frankly, the artificial stimulation is required because if we look at the actual landscape of the internet this morning, it was a barren wasteland.
Babes, the blogs were completely, utterly dry this morning. I was scrolling TMZ, I was refreshing page 6, I was looking everywhere and there was nothing.
Total delusion.
It's so weird recording this late in the day when the morning started with absolute deafening silence.
The dry blog delusion is a very specific type of psychological warfare, honestly. It makes you question reality.
Right.
You start wondering if your Wi-Fi is broken or if you've been shadow banned from pop culture.
It really does, because think about the past couple of months. We were being fed a 5-course meal of chaos every single day.
It was exhausting but glorious.
The reality TV gods were working overtime. We had the Taylor Frankie Paul domestic violence arrest. We had the Vanderpump Rules fallout. We had housewives getting indicted.
They're handing us scandals on a silver platter.
And then today, just silence. I started spiraling. Are celebrities actually behaving?
No.
Is there a new, highly aggressive crisis PR firm in Hollywood that is just burying all the scandals in the dark web before they hit the internet? Are we entering a flop era of gossip where everyone suddenly has boundaries and morals?
Let me stop your spiral right there. The fundamental architecture of a reality star's brain makes them genetically incapable of behaving.
You think so?
It goes against their entire psychological makeup and their financial interests. If the blogs are dry, it's not because people are making good choices doing yoga and going to therapy.
Sure.
It's because publicists are working 90-hour work weeks, threatening defamation lawsuits, issuing cease and desists, and strategically burying stories. It's absolute ironclad PR control.
So the mess is happening.
Well, the mess is happening. It's just happening behind NDAs. Which, speaking of a lack of boundaries and chaotic behavior, reminds me of the absolute catastrophe that happened in our own workplace break room today.
Wait, yes. The Five Guys incident. You texted me in all caps, which you never do.
I was pushed to my absolute limit.
Tell the Snark Squad exactly what happened.
It's a masterclass in entitlement. So I'm sitting at my desk, minding my own business, finalizing some charts, and I casually mention aloud, mostly to myself, just vocalizing my internal monologue,
Right.
that I'm thinking of getting Five Guys for lunch.
Yeah.
It was a simple statement of fact regarding my impending caloric intake. Nothing more.
A dangerous thing to say in an office, babes.
Apparently, suddenly 3 coworkers pop their heads up over their monitors like meerkats in the Serengeti and say, "Oh, amazing, get me a bacon cheeseburger." And another one goes, "Oh, get me a regular fry, but make sure they put extra Cajun seasoning in the bag."
Are you kidding me? The absolute audacity of that. Oh my God, the emotional horror I would feel in that moment. I would freeze.
It was stunning.
Did they offer you money? Did they immediately pull out their phones to Venmo you or hand you cash?
Not a single mention of payment. No phones drawn, no wallets opened. Just pure, unadulterated assumption that I was launching a philanthropic food delivery service.
I'm physically ill just thinking about it.
Let's analyze the unspoken rules of workplace food politics, because they are clearly broken here. The social contract dictates that if someone announces they are leaving to get food, you only ask them to grab something if you immediately thrust cash or a Venmo request at them before they even stand up.
Yes, before they stand up.
And even then, it's a massive imposition because now I have to manage your order, make sure your burger doesn't have pickles, and carry the grease-soaked bag in my car.
The smell of fast food fries lingers in a car for weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was so profoundly tempted to go buy exactly one single burger for myself, come back to the break room, unwrap it incredibly slowly, and eat it while making unbroken, dead-eyed contact with all of them.
I'm screaming you should have done it. That would have been the ultimate supervillain move to match the all-black outfit.
It would have been poetic.
Just taking a massive bite of a bacon cheeseburger while maintaining aggressive eye contact. Like, oh, did you guys want something? I thought we were just listing restaurants we liked.
Next time, I am executing that exact plan, But honestly, the entitlement of expecting someone else to foot the bill for your messy choices is a perfect segue.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Because clearly we need something to revive us from the trauma of our actual lives. And speaking of legal PR control and financial delusion, the reality stars are doing exactly that right now.
Yes. Babes, we have so much Bravo legal and relationship mess to unpack today. It is wild out there. If they can't stop the blogs from reporting on them, they're trying to stop the judges from ruling against them.
Let's start in Beverly Hills. Denise Richards versus Aaron Vipers.
Babes, my heart was actually racing reading these court documents. Denise scored a minor victory by getting Judge Nicole Bershon to actually seal her divorce document.
Which is huge for her PR.
Massive, meaning the public and the blogs can't access the nitty-gritty details of their financial split or the specific allegations.
It's a PR victory, sure.
Yeah.
But it is wrapped in a massive, glaring financial contradiction. Because let's break down the actual math and the shade of what happened in that courtroom.
Okay, lay out the math.
While she got the document sealed, Denise was also ordered by the judge to pay Aaron $5,000 a month in temporary spousal support.
Wait, a month? Just for spousal support?
Yeah, exactly. Plus an immediate $30,000 to cover his attorney fees. And her reaction in court, she frantically told the judge, quote, "I can't afford it."
I feel so much empathy for her in that exact moment. Imagine the emotional toll of having to pay alimony to an ex you are actively trying to escape.
It's rough, but
To Aaron, the man who literally told her on camera while mic'd up at a party that he was going to crush her hand. The stress of that relationship was so dark. And now she has to write him a check every single month.
it makes me physically ill.
Hold on, let's step back from the emotional reaction and look at the structural math before we throw a pity party for her bank account. We have to look at Aaron's filing.
What did he claim?
Aaron claims, under penalty of perjury, that Denise is pulling in $250,000 a month. A month. Not a year. A month.
Oh, my God.
That income is supposedly flowing from her OnlyFans account, her brand deals, her acting gigs, and reality TV appearances.
That is an insane amount of money.
Exactly. How do you pull in $250,000 every 30 days and then frantically claim poverty to a judge over a $5,000 alimony check? That is a wild, almost insulting legal strategy.
Yeah, but
The judge is looking at those numbers going, the math isn't mathing, Denise.
okay, but we don't know the actual mechanics of her overhead? Living in Malibu is not cheap.
Oh, please. No, listen. She has kids. She is raising. She probably has a massive mortgage. She has staff, managers taking 10%, agents taking 10%, PR teams, lawyers. Maybe that $250K is gross revenue, not net profit.
Gross revenue doesn't excuse claiming you can't find $5,000.
But by the time Uncle Sam takes half and her team takes their cut, her liquid cash might actually be tight. I just hate the idea of him getting a single cent from her empire. She built that.
The overhead argument is valid. Rich people love to be asset rich and cash poor, hiding all their money in LLCs and trusts so they look broke on paper.
See.
But even with a 50% tax bracket and 20% to management, claiming you can't find $5,000 when you gross $250,000 is a stretch that defies basic arithmetic.
I guess.
It's the principle of it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to afford it, which is different from can't afford it. But speaking of Beverly Hills stars who are actively trying to ignore the messy reality of their lives by projecting absolute perfection online,
Ooh.
we have to discuss the masterclass in deflection currently being taught by Dorit Kemsley.
Oh my God, yes. The classic mom deflection strategy. It is so transparent.
It's PR 101. When your entire social infrastructure is collapsing, you pivot to the wholesome content.
Dorit is aggressively, and I mean aggressively, posting about her kids right now to drown out the noise of her collapsing life.
It's all over her feed.
She posted this incredibly produced long story about Jagger's baseball game. He hit an RBI, and she's captioning it with things like, "Playoffs, here we come. Nothing beats watching your child have a day like this. It makes everything fade away."
Fade away from what exactly?
Right. And then the very next day, she's posting about Phoenix performing in a stage production of The Sound of Music, talking about how she comes alive on stage. It is such a calculated pivot.
Let's analyze the timing of this sudden influx of maternal pride. What is she trying to make fade away?
Everything.
Well, she currently has an ongoing, incredibly toxic feud with Kyle Richards, her former best friend. Erica Jane is openly not speaking to her and mocking her.
Yes, the reunion was brutal.
Amanda Francis is somehow involved in this peripheral drama. And she just got publicly, viciously shaded by Teddy Mellencamp.
Teddy went in on her.
Exactly. When the adults in your life despise you and the blogs are calling you a flop, you use the children as a human shield. Because what kind of monster attacks a mother posting about her son's Little League RBI?
Yo, buddy.
It's an impenetrable defense.
It really is. You can't criticize her without looking like the villain. But honestly, the real mess of the Kemsley empire right now isn't Dorit's Instagram. It's PK.
Oh, PK.
Babes, we have to talk about PK Kemsley's podcast interview. He just went on the We Need to Talk podcast, and the level of desperation gave me secondhand embarrassment.
Desperation is putting it mildly. It was an active job interview masquerading as a podcast appearance.
Truly.
He literally brought a visual aid, a physical prop. He held up a printed photo of himself, Lisa Vanderpump, and the infamous Lucy Applejuice dog.
Stop. I felt a physical trigger warning in my chest when I read the name Lucy Applejuice. I cannot believe he resurrected Puppygate.
He brought the dog back from the dead.
That dog literally ruined season 9 of Beverly Hills. It tore the entire cast apart. It pushed Lisa Vanderpump off the show. And it was the darkest, most exhausting storyline in Housewives history. Why would he bring that up?
He resurrected it because the man needs a paycheck, and he understands the mechanics of the Bravo ecosystem.
He does know how to play the game.
Let's analyze his quotes. PK sits there, holding this photo, and says he deeply misses LVP. He claims the entire Puppygate fallout was, quote, so unnecessary, completely rewriting history as if his wife wasn't the one who gave the dog to a kill shelter.
I am screaming. The revisionist history.
And then the kicker, he drops the breadcrumb that he's going to see Lisa fairly soon.
He is totally trying to defect to her side.
I am judging this maneuver so hard. Is PK just trying to secure a spot on Vanderpump Rules, or more likely the Valley, now that his marriage to Dorit is effectively over?
Oh, absolutely. He wants on the Valley.
He sees the writing on the wall. If Dorit loses her diamond, which is highly probable given her current isolation from the cast, PK loses his screen time and his Bravo check.
Yep.
So what does a shrewd businessman do? He runs back to the woman who actually has multiple shows greenlit on the network.
Sure.
He's trying to pivot from house husband to Vanderpump villain.
It makes me so emotional because in that exact same interview, underneath the desperate job hunting, he said something really dark.
What was it?
PK was wondering out loud if putting Dorit on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is what ultimately destroyed their marriage.
Oh, wow.
He literally asked the host, is Dorit where she was always going to be, or was I responsible for putting her in that world? That is such a heavy, devastating thing to admit out loud. He realizes the reality TV machine chewed up their relationship and spat it out.
It's the ultimate sunk cost fallacy of reality television. You go on the show to promote your lifestyle and your businesses. The show requires conflict to survive. The conflict destroys your actual life. And then you were left with nothing but the show.
That is so bleak.
It chewed their marriage up, and now he's trying to get hired by the machine's other department. It's deeply cynical, but from a survival standpoint, it's brilliant.
Speaking of brilliant business minds, using reality TV to survive a massive public mess, let's talk about Pinky Cole prepping for Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17.
Now, this is a masterclass in narrative control. The founder of Slutty Vegan is joining RHOA, and I am fascinated by her strategy.
I am so excited for this energy on Atlanta. They need a powerhouse, and she is giving it.
I love how coldly analytical she is about her own scandals. She gave an interview recently explaining her thought process for joining the cast.
What did she say?
She said that doing the show was a no-brainer, specifically because her Chapter 11 bankruptcy and the temporary loss of her business were already, quote, all out in the streets.
Yes. She basically looked at the absolute worst moment of her professional life, the public humiliation of losing control of this massive vegan fast food empire she built from scratch, and said, well, the blogs already wrote about it, my haters already laughed at me, so I might as well get a Bravo paycheck to tell my side of the story.
It's taking the power back.
I actually find that so incredibly inspiring. I got emotional reading her quotes because she completely flipped the narrative.
How did she flip it? What was the specific PR spin?
She compared her business bounce back to massive legacy corporations. She pointed out that Amazon almost went completely bankrupt in its early days.
Okay, reaching a bit, but sure.
She pointed out that Delta Airlines went bankrupt. American Airlines had massive financial challenges and restructuring. She said failing isn't actually failing, it's finding aspiration in the losses. How amazing is that?
It's an absolutely elite spin.
To take a public humiliation like walking through bankruptcy court and then using it to inspire women watching RHOA, she is turning her financial trauma into an empowerment seminar.
The psychological reframing is genius. She's aligning herself with Bezos and major airlines instead of reality TV flops.
I know, it's so smart.
Honestly, I'm taking notes. If my business ever goes under or I max out my credit cards, I'm not going to admit I'm broke. I'm just going to tell my family I'm entering my Delta Airlines era.
I am stealing that.
It sounds so much chicer and more strategic than just saying, I mismanage my funds.
Exactly. I am undergoing corporate restructuring. Please respect my privacy. I love it. And speaking of people who are trying to completely rewrite their current narrative to survive a mess, let's talk about the absolute chaos of these relationship hard launches this week.
Oh, this is the perfect transition.
Because if you want to distract from a divorce, what better way than debuting a shiny new man?
Are these celebrities soft launching a beautiful new era? Or are they setting themselves up for absolute catastrophic public ruin? Let's judge the survival rates of these new relationships.
I am so ready.
I want to start with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Bronwyn Newport and Brandon Good.
Babes, I am obsessed with Bronwyn. Her strutting onto the Met Gala red carpet, the Met Gala, the most exclusive fashion event on the planet, to drop exclusive details about her divorce from Todd Bradley to an E! News reporter is the ultimate flex.
It is bold, I'll give her that.
She admitted on the carpet that Todd desperately wants to repair the marriage, but she just wants some space.
Okay, but let's dissect the definition of space here.
Yeah.
She claims she wants space from Todd to figure herself out, but she is actively dating Brandon Good a mere 5 months post-split.
5 months is a long time in Housewives' years.
And she's telling the press that this new relationship is joyful.
Let's look at the mechanics of this launch. A standard reality star soft launch is an obscured hand holding a wine glass on an Instagram story.
Right.
Doing press on the literal steps of the Met Gala with Anna Wintour breathing down your neck. That is a hard launch with extreme prejudice.
That's so iconic. Is this the ultimate power flex, or is she moving way, way too fast? 5 months after a massive financially intertwined marriage ends, and you're debuting a hot new boyfriend to E! News while your ex-husband is sitting at home begging to fix things.
I honestly kind of disagree with you here. I think she is totally focused on herself, just like she said.
You're Brian the PR.
Sometimes you need a joy-filled, lighthearted rebound to realize that you don't actually want to go back and do the grueling work of fixing a broken marriage. The rebound is the catalyst for the final break.
But the dopamine wears off. And when the dopamine of the new relationship fades, you still have the undealt with trauma of the divorce. That feels like the architectural groundwork for a massive hard regret in about 6 months.
Okay, fair. But if we are talking about genuine, undeniable hard regret, oh my God, babes, I am spiraling over the Amanda Batula and West Wilson situation from Summer House.
It is the ultimate violation of the reality TV ecosystem.
This is the messiest crossover I have ever seen.
Let's break down the alliances here, because this is where the strategy gets fascinating.
It is the ultimate girl code violation. So Amanda is divorcing Kyle Cook, which, let's be real, every single viewer saw coming for the last 5 years.
It was a slow-motion car crash.
But instead of taking time to heal, she instantly moves on with Kyle's friend and co-star, West Wilson. They even left the Leith reunion taping together in the same car.
In front of everyone.
West is Ciara Miller's ex. He absolutely humiliated Ciara on national television, played with her feelings, and now Amanda's dating him. How could Amanda do that to the house?
It was reckless.
How could she do that to Ciara, who she lived with and filmed with? Hard regret for the friendships. My heart physically hurts for Ciara right now.
Let's bring in the Lindsay Hubbard angle, because this proves the ripple effect of this betrayal. Lindsay and Amanda historically hated each other, but they recently became, quote, basically best friends while filming the new spin-off in the city right after season 10 of Summer House wrapped.
Right, they bonded over their breakups.
Exactly. Lindsay literally sat in the clubhouse on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and declared that she had Amanda's back in the divorce. But now, the algorithm of loyalty has shifted.
She is completely ignoring her.
Lindsay just admitted she is actively ignoring Amanda's text messages since the West Wilson news broke.
Because Lindsay understands the core tenets of loyalty. You do not date your castmate's toxic ex-boyfriend. It's a fundamental rule of feminism and reality TV.
And while the women are drawing battle lines and ignoring texts, what are the divorced guys doing? This is my favorite part of the story.
It is so typical.
Kyle Cook and Carl Radke, both newly single from very public, very messy breakups, escaped the entire drama by going to watch Olivia Rodrigo host Saturday Night Live.
Why Olivia Rodrigo?
And they made sure TMZ caught them taking photo booth pictures with their PR friends Chanel Omari and Ali Lasky.
It is so sad, but so funny.
Because it is the absolute quintessential divorced guy coping mechanism. Your entire life is falling apart, your businesses are entangled in a divorce, your ex-wife is dating your Bravo buddy, so what do?
You go to SNL.
You put on a nice jacket, you go stand in the studio audience at SNL, and you yell live from New York to pretend everything is totally fine and you are thriving.
The optics of being seen at SNL imply you were booked, busy, and unbothered.
When in reality, you are probably crying in the Uber home.
It's so transparent. But, okay, the most random relationship news of the week, maybe of the entire year, has to be Michelle Sine from The Valley and Dr. Dre.
A glitch in the simulation.
I completely lost my mind when I saw those paparazzi pictures of them holding hands, leaving Nobu Malibu. It legitimately feels like a fever dream.
It defies all logical reality TV algorithms. Even her own castmates couldn't process the data. Janet Caperna gave an interview to Page 6 that perfectly encapsulated the confusion.
What did Janet say?
Janet's mom texted her the article with the photos, and Janet literally thought it was AI. She looked at the picture of Michelle holding hands with one of the most famous hip-hop producers in history, and her brain rejected it.
I mean, can you blame her?
She thought, oh, that's just fake internet garbage, until she realized it was an actual verified Page 6 report.
Just a few weeks ago, the blogs were running wild with those fake AI-generated pictures of Brittany Cartwright on the beach with a fake boyfriend.
Right. The technology is too good now.
And those completely fabricated photos of Tyler Perry supposedly dating Marlo Hampton. We are living in an era where you can't trust your own eyes. So when you see Michelle from The Valley and Dr. Dre, your brain naturally assumes it's a deepfake. Do you think this is a hard regret waiting to happen or a massive glow-up for Michelle?
If we analyze the pure mechanics of the power dynamic, it's a glow-up of epic historic proportions if she can manage to hold on to it.
Oh, totally.
Going from being married to Jesse Lally, a real estate agent prone to rage spirals on Bravo, to dating a literal billionaire icon who shaped modern music. That is a leap that requires a parachute and a very good publicist.
How do they even meet?
Apparently, they were introduced by a mutual friend at his record label, and they've been quietly partying together for months. But the key here is the venue. They didn't get caught at a random dive bar.
No, they went to Nobu.
She secured the Nobu Malibu Pap Walk. That is a highly choreographed event. Paparazzi basically live in the bushes at Nobu. You don't hold hands leaving Nobu unless you want the world, your ex-husband, and the Bravo producers to know exactly who you were dating.
It is a soft launch with extreme intent.
I respect the hustle, even if it eventually implodes.
I am honestly rooting for her. Get that bag, Michelle. Okay, babes, we have to talk about the firings, the medical updates, and the chaotic manifestation happening right now. We have to start with Below Deck Down Under Season 4, because Captain Jason firing Mike Durant was the most intense television I have watched all year.
It was a beautiful disaster.
Episode 14 had me physically yelling at my TV screen.
Mike provided a televised masterclass in exactly how to get yourself fired. It was a step-by-step guide on how to ruin your own career.
He was so incredibly toxic. The energy he brought to that boat was awful. He was winding up Jenna Woodberg, constantly aggravating her, picking at her.
Just relentless bullying.
And then when Daisy Kelleher stepped in, Daisy, who is an absolute legend and one of the best chief stews on the network, he popped off at her, he got aggressive, and then he straight up lied to her face, gaslighting her by saying, I haven't said anything. I was so stressed watching her try to manage him.
His delusional defiance was astounding. He completely lacked any understanding of maritime hierarchy.
None at all.
Daisy, trying to manage the situation, tells him, okay, you're working until 9 p.m. tonight as a disciplinary punishment for his behavior.
Yeah.
And Mike, with his chest puffed out, completely devoid of self-awareness, looks at his head of department and literally says, we'll see about that. I'm not working until 9 p.m.
I gasped.
Let me be clear. You do not tell your HOD. We'll see about that on a multi-million-dollar super yacht.
No, it is a massive safety issue. If you won't listen to orders about your shift time, how can they trust you in an emergency? Thank God for Captain Jason. He has that strict zero-tolerance policy on disrespecting HODs. He didn't even hesitate. He told Daisy, sometimes lessons have to be learned the hard way.
A great leadership moment.
He called Mike into the wheelhouse, looked him dead in the eye, and said, you think this is a bit of a joke? I won't tolerate it. I need you to leave the boat today. He just gave him his walking papers right then and there. It was so decisive.
It was incredibly satisfying to watch a toxic employee face immediate, unmitigated consequences. Though, to be fair to the analytical post-mortem of the situation, Mike did eventually issue an apology to U.S. Weekly.
Did he actually mean it, though?
He finally admitted his behavior was completely unacceptable, that he took it entirely too far with Daisy, and that he realizes he left the crew a man down by being so immature and forcing a firing mid-charter.
Well, at least he admitted the man down part.
It's extremely rare we get actual, unprompted accountability from a fired yachty. Usually they blame the edit. So I'll give him a very slow, analytical golf clap for the self-awareness, even if it was months too late and clearly orchestrated by a crisis manager.
True. The PR team definitely drafted that statement. Now, babes, I want to slow down the energy for a second because we have a really emotional, very real update on Katie Thurston from The Bachelorette.
It's a very heavy story.
She has been sharing her stage 4 breast cancer journey online, and it just breaks my heart, but it also fills me with so much awe for her absolute strength.
It's an incredibly heavy situation, but the way she's choosing to share the reality of it, the mechanics of the recovery, the unvarnished truth, is really grounding in a space that is usually so filtered.
It is so raw. She just underwent a double mastectomy. She shared all these hyper-specific details on her Booby broadcast channel, which is such a Katie way to name it.
Brings a little levity to it.
She explained that she had a nipple-sparing procedure, and the surgeons did direct-to-implant reconstruction to try and preserve the nerves. But the thing that really got me was this photo she posted.
The one in the hospital bed.
Yes. She's in her hospital bed, heavily wrapped in thick surgical bandages, with plastic fluid drains visibly coming out of her sides. And in the middle of all this pain, she is eating a carton of French fries, even though she captioned it saying she felt like she was going to throw up at any minute from the nausea.
I profoundly appreciate her total lack of filter. She is refusing to sugarcoat the medical reality of this disease. On Instagram, you usually see these highly curated, soft-focus recovery posts.
Exactly, just like smiling with a balloon.
Right. But Katie is talking about how her sides physically ache, how managing the drains is miserable and gross, and how taking a simple 5-minute shower has become a massive, exhausting event that depletes all her energy. And her highlighting the reality of caregiving through her husband, Jeff Arcuri, was a crucial detail.
That part made me cry.
She pointed out that he's physically lifting her out of bed, and that when they travel home, he's going to have to carry every single piece of their luggage because she said she's currently walking at the speed of a baby turtle.
The baby turtle comment made me burst into tears. It is just so vulnerable. I love them together, and I love that she is letting people see the unglamorous, painful, terrifying side of this fight. It makes people feel less alone if they are going through it. We are sending her and Jeff all the love in the world right now.
Absolutely. The reality of medical trauma is so rarely televised, honestly. Now, to pivot our brains to something significantly lighter and completely unhinged.
Yes, please.
Let's talk about the absolute chaotic manifestation energy of Maura Higgins.
Oh my God, yes. Our favorite chaos agent from Love Island and The Traitors. She is currently trying to manifest a spot on Dancing with the Stars season 35, and her methodology is incredible.
Let's break down the mechanics of her manifestation technique, because it is delightfully deranged. She gave an interview explaining her process.
What does she do?
She said that on New Year's Eve, instead of going out to a massive party, she stayed home completely by herself. She boiled a massive bowl of pasta, poured a heavy glass of red wine, sat down on her floor, and decided to redo her vision board.
I love that for her.
And she literally printed out and taped Dancing with the Stars onto the board 5 or 6 times. Her operating logic is, if you want something bad enough, just stick it on the board 6 times in a row, aggressively stare at it while eating carbs, and the universe has to capitulate.
I mean, I love the dedication. I might legitimately try that tonight with my own life goals.
With the pasta.
Yes. Just print out 6 identical pictures of a Malibu beach house, tape them covering my entire fridge, eat spaghetti, and see what happens. And the best part is, she actually got advice from Mark Ballas.
Right. Mark Ballas, who is a DWTS legend and was sequestered with her on The Traitors, gave her some very specific advice. He told her to approach the show as a blank canvas, to let the pros mold her.
That makes sense.
But he also issued a very dark, political warning. He told her about something he calls the trench. He warned her that if she manages to make it past week 6 of the competition, the compounding physical pain and the mental exhaustion hit a level that is basically a deep, dark trench you have to violently crawl your way out of.
Oh, wow. That sounds intense.
So good luck to Maura, her pasta-fueled vision board, and her impending physical collapse.
I am absolutely rooting for her to make it to the trench. Okay, babes, let's play a game. Would you survive this headline?
Let's do it.
Snark Squad. The premise here is simple. We take the most chaotic, messy headlines from the blogs today, and we ask ourselves, could we, as normal people with normal nervous systems, physically and emotionally survive this level of public embarrassment or exposure?
I am ready to ruthlessly judge our own survival skills.
Yeah.
Hit me with the first scenario.
Headline 1. Margot Stilley opens up about spiral down while making Ladies of London. Babes, Margot went on Jeff Lewis's podcast and revealed that looking back, she realizes now she was suffering from severe, undiagnosed postpartum depression while filming season 4 of the show.
That's tough.
Could you survive having a literal mental health breakdown, televised, edited, and broadcasted for Bravo audiences to judge?
The broadcast of the breakdown isn't even the hardest part to survive. It's the collateral damage of what you do during the breakdown. Let's look at the specific mechanism of her trauma.
What happened?
Because during that season, Margot got into a massive vitriolic feud with Mark Francis Vandelli. During an argument, she casually threw out the word freak at him. Just a careless, angry insult.
Yeah.
But then in the finale, Mark Francis completely breaks down. He tells her that her calling him a freak didn't just annoy him, it took him right back to being a suicidal 16-year-old who was completely shunned and terrorized for his sexuality.
That moment made my stomach drop into my shoes. It was so raw.
So my survival question is deeper. Could you survive the immense crushing guilt? Could you survive realizing, years later, that a careless, angry insult you threw out on a reality TV show for drama deeply, permanently traumatized your castmate and triggered suicidal memories from their childhood?
Oh my God.
Margot said on the podcast she had absolutely no idea the word was so weighted for him, but surviving the realization that you are the undeniable villain in someone else's very real trauma story, that is a psychological pill I don't think I could swallow. I would have to sell all my belongings, move to a cabin in the deep woods, and turn off my Wi-Fi forever.
I would never, ever recover.
Yeah.
I would write him handwritten apology letters every single day for the rest of my natural life. The emotional weight of knowing you hurt someone that deeply for entertainment? No, I wouldn't survive it.
Moving on to the next one before we both get depressed.
Okay, headline 2, bringing it to the streaming world. Love is Blind season 10 stars, Bree McNeese and Connor Spies, seemingly split.
The structural disaster that is Love is Blind. Let's unpack the timeline of this failure.
This one is an absolute roller coaster of delusion. So they meet in the pods, they bond over their mutual love for the song Mr. Brightside.
A red flag already.
She accepts his proposal sight unseen, crying through the wall. Everything seems great. Then we get to episode 11, the wedding day. And Bree completely calls off the wedding at the altar because she claims she is suddenly deeply concerned about his finances and his living situation.
Right at the altar.
But then, after humiliating him on global Netflix, they decide to date anyway after the cameras stop rolling. And now, TMZ just reported that Connor dumped her 3 weeks ago.
Let's map out the exact sequence of humiliations here to determine the survival rate. Could you survive? Step 1. Rejecting a man at the altar on the biggest streaming platform in the world.
Literally passing out.
Step 2, getting massive vitriolic fan backlash because you told the confessional cameras you were worried he couldn't, quote, out-alpha you. Step 3, doing a PR interview with Netflix's Tudum site claiming it's not Connor, it's me, I just wasn't ready.
The backtracking was crazy.
And then step 4, the final blow. After putting this man through a televised ringer, he decides he's had enough and he dumps you.
The sheer humiliation. To be the runaway bride who then desperately tries to crawl back only to get dumped by the groom you ran away from?
Yeah.
I would pass out. I would legally change my name and delete every trace of my social media footprint.
But she didn't do that.
But, babes, Bree didn't. She did the exact opposite. She posted this incredibly curated May manifestations photo dump on her Instagram with a long caption about trusting karma and avoiding toxic drama.
Trusting karma is the ultimate toxic reality star coping mechanism. It is a complete refusal to accept accountability.
Absolutely.
When you orchestrate the drama, when you insult a man's financial standing and masculinity on television, and then the natural consequences of those actions hit you, you don't get to vaguely post about karma. You are the karma, Bree. The call is coming from inside the house.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
You told the entire world he couldn't out-alpha you, and so he alphaed his way right out the front door. The dark humor of this entire sequence of events is exquisite.
You are so ruthless, but you're not wrong. She literally manifested her own dumping. Okay, babes, let's get into the absolute mess of the Mormon wives and the end of an era in reality TV.
It's been a busy day in Utah.
First, the secret lives of Mormon wives. I am actually screaming at my phone over this update. The blogs are reporting that Taylor Frankie Paul's season of The Bachelorette, the one everyone thought was buried forever, is not getting dumped on a streaming service. ABC is allegedly airing it on primetime this summer.
Let's dissect the corporate PR and financial strategy behind this decision, because it is a fascinating case study in network television mechanics. We have to look at the timeline.
It's so messed up.
Disney and ABC completely paused her entire season and buried the footage after TMZ leaked that horrific 2023 Ring camera video of her throwing metal bar stools at her boyfriend, Dakota Mortensen, while her child was nearby. It was a massive, radioactive PR nightmare.
Everyone in the industry assumed the season was dead, written off as a tax loss.
But now, the blogs say they are officially announcing it at the network upfronts next week. Why? The only analytical, logical answer is the sunk cost fallacy and ratings.
Explain the upfronts thing, because that blew my mind.
Upfronts are when networks present their upcoming slate of shows to massive corporate advertisers to secure billions of dollars in ad buys. If ABC is putting Taylor Frankie Paul on stage at the upfronts, it means they looked at the internal metrics, they looked at the millions of dollars they spent on an 11-week production schedule, and they realized the morbid public curiosity is simply too high to throw the footage away.
It's all about the money.
They are betting that the controversy will drive higher ratings than a safe, boring season. Morality clauses in contracts only matter until the network realizes the scandal can make them money.
It's disgusting. It makes me feel sick that they are rewarding that behavior, and I'm stunned by Taylor's absolute audacity right now. She gave an exclusive interview trying to actively defend her mothering.
Of course she did.
She sat there and said the headlines aren't the truth, and that she treats her kids with the utmost respect. But babes, we all saw the raw video footage. We saw the stool allegedly hitting her kid. How do you go to the press and defend that when the visual evidence is on the internet forever?
You defend it with sociopathic levels of delusion, propelled by a crisis PR team. And the terrifying part is, it's working for her. Because the producer of her other show, Jeff Jenkins, was just speaking at Deadline's reality TV summit.
What did he say?
He stood on a stage and confirmed that Hulu gave the thumbs up for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 5. And he explicitly told the crowd he hopes Taylor returns to the cast. He actually said she seemed, quote, grounded and composed after getting her permanent restraining order sorted out. Grounded and composed.
It's going to be so incredibly messy if she films. Almost none of the cast wants to be in the same room with her. The dynamic is ruined. The only cast member who physically showed up to support her in court was Jesse Draker.
The one ally.
But then, in the ultimate reality TV twist, TMZ leaked audio of Jesse completely trashing Taylor behind her back. The cast dynamics are completely fundamentally fractured. How do you film a show about a friend group when everyone is secretly recording each other?
Which brings us perfectly to the others is LMW divorce drama, because secret recordings and toxic communication are the foundation of this franchise. Let's discuss Miranda Hope and Chase McWhorter.
Yes. Biggs, they officially divorced in 2024 after the massive soft-swinging scandal that rocked TikTok. Chase publicly admitted he participated in the swinging.
It was a very public admission.
And now Miranda is taking his private toxic text messages, putting them on green screen, and turning them into an early 2000s Paramore-style emo song on TikTok.
I have to sarcastically applaud the sheer, unprecedented level of pettiness required to execute this. The mechanics of this feud are staggering.
It's art, honestly.
Chase hooked up with her co-star, Jesse Draper. Miranda claims to the press that she wasn't even shocked because, historically, he has a pattern of hooking up with her friends. So now, they are attempting to co-parent their two young kids, Brooks and Cohen, while exclusively communicating their grievances via angry, heavily produced emo TikToks that millions of people watch. It's modern digital age parenting at its absolute finest.
It's giving Grammy Award-winning petty. Honestly, I kind of love the song. But babes, we have to take a serious moment of silence. We need to lower the energy because I am genuinely so emotional announcing the end of an absolute foundational era in pop culture.
The fall of an empire.
After 15 years, VH1 is officially pulling the plug on the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise.
It is the fall of the Roman Empire for unscripted television.
It really is. Mona Scott Young literally changed the culture. She defined a decade.
Let's give the analytical rundown of how this empire actually collapsed, because it didn't happen overnight. It was a slow structural failure.
It's been fading for a while.
The New York and Hollywood spin-offs, died a very quiet, unceremonious death during the COVID lockdowns, when production logistics became impossible. Atlanta and Miami have been hanging on by a thread for the last 3 years, just constantly being shuffled between time slots and bounced between VH1 and MTV to try and find an audience.
It was so hard to figure out when it was actually airing.
The streaming model finally killed the cable star. So now VH1 is airing a 6-part special called The Final Chapter this fall to wrap up 15 years of storylines.
I am going to miss the chaotic drink throws, the intense studio fights where security had to break down the doors, the absolute messy genius of it all. They pioneered that style of
It
television.
really did set the blueprint.
Before Love and Hip Hop, reality TV didn't have those slick music video style editing transitions or those heavy hip hop beats dropping right before a commercial break. They invented that. Pour one out for Mona Scott Young, babes. We will absolutely be seated for the final chapter.
Let's move to our final segment of the night. If this hit the group chat. The premise here is we take a specific, highly detailed, messy story from the Bravo universe, pretend someone dropped it into your personal family group chat without context, and analyze exactly how horribly the boomers in our lives would misinterpret it.
Yes, the group chat trauma.
I want to tie this back to our own group chat trauma.
Oh, I have the absolute perfect subject for this. Emmy Sherritt from Southern Hospitality.
Oh, this leaked text message is a masterpiece of modern delusion and buzzword salad.
It is a literal novel. So Emmy sent this massive multi-paragraph text message to Michaels Pena. And in this text, she is claiming she felt completely unsafe and gaslit.
Unsafe is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Why? Because Bradley Carter supposedly illegally recorded a private, off-camera conversation in a hotel room between Emmy, her mom, and Will Culp, and then sent allegedly threatening messages about it. She claimed in this text that he violently invaded her space, breached her trust, and that she has legitimate legal grounds to sue him.
And then Leva Bonaparte, who is their actual boss at the nightclub and the executive producer adjacent star of the show, jumps directly into the Instagram comments to tear Emmy's narrative apart.
She eviscerated her.
A fan commented, asking Leva if she was still riding for Emmy. Leva responds with a paragraph of her own. She says, "I don't ride for anyone, even if they're dangerously in the wrong." She then confirmed to the public that Emmy has been completely taken off the Republic nightclub schedule.
Wait, she fired her in an Instagram comment.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Leva refused to engage in what she called a public metaphorical stoning, and essentially broke the fourth wall to blame NBC Universal and the reunion producers for manufacturing the drama. She flat out typed, "I don't control NBC."
Okay, so imagine taking Emmy's massive victim mentality legal threat text message and dropping it directly into your family group chat on a Tuesday afternoon.
It would be chaos.
My moms would completely, utterly misinterpret the entire thing. They would read the word unsafe and immediately panic about hotel security protocols.
Oh, absolutely.
They would be texting back in all caps. Did someone break into her room? Call the front desk immediately. Why didn't she engage the deadbolt on the door? Have you called the police? They would miss the entire nuanced context of the reality TV microaggression drama entirely and just assume a masked intruder was roaming the halls of a Marriott courtyard.
It's so painfully accurate. Moms latch onto the word unsafe and completely ignore the surrounding 300 words of context. If that novel of a text hit my family group chat, honestly, it wouldn't even get fully read.
What would they say?
Long, emotional text like that in real functional group chats just get a single devastating thumbs up tap back. Because no one has the energetic capacity at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday to unpack a 400-word manifesto about being gaslit by a coworker.
The thumbs up tap back.
You send that to the chat, you get a thumbs up from your uncle, and then 3 minutes later, someone immediately asks what time Sunday dinner is.
Yes. The thumbs up tap back is the ultimate insult to a dramatic, well-crafted text. It is so profoundly dismissive, and I love it. It immediately humbles you.
Well, building on that idea of shifting mediums, and Leva Bonaparte explicitly taking to the Instagram comments to blame NBC Universal for the drama, and connecting that to the actual death of the Love and Hip Hop cable empire we discussed earlier, I want to leave the Snark Squad with a provocative final thought to mull over this week.
Ooh, hit us. I'm ready.
Is the heavily produced era of reality television officially functionally dead?
Wait, what?
Think about the mechanics of what we just discussed today. When stars like Leva are openly breaking the fourth wall in a random Instagram comment section to say, "I don't have creative control," NBC does. And when cast members are actively leaking audio files and multi-paragraph text messages to expose each other months before the heavily edited episodes even air, are we entering a post-reality era?
I am listening.
An era where the actual polished cable television episodes don't even matter anymore, and the real show, the show the fans actually care about, is just the raw TikToks, the unsealed legal filings, and the leaked group chats playing out in real time. Are we currently watching the death of the network producer and the rise of the reality star acting as their own chaotic, unregulated broadcasting network?
Oh my God, babes, that is such a deep, dark thought. The real show isn't on Bravo. The real show is in the comment section and the court dockets.
Exactly.
My mind is entirely blown. We are just watching the aftermath on TV. Thank you, Snark Squad, so much for hanging out with us, for surviving this absolute mess of a day. We wish you an amazing week again. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your messiest friend who needs a distraction.
And remember, set firm, impenetrable boundaries if someone casually asks you to buy them a bacon cheeseburger without offering Venmo first.
Yes, boundaries and Red Bull. Stay caffeinated, stay chaotic, and we will see you on the Snark side.